posted in accordance with Public Law 75, Chapter 231, has been advertised in the Atlantic City Press and posted in City Hall on the municipal website. Please rise for the pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for a moment of silence. Once again, keeping in mind all of our service and military personnel who are doing their best to defend our American interests. And especially for the fact that they're not going to be home for Christmas. Amen. I actually received some rather very good news today. Got a surprise visit from someone. Knocked on my door. Had no idea who this guy was. Said, a package was delivered to me from my son. As I went outside to get the package, it was my son. Can I roll call, please?
Mr. Dilch?
Yes.
Ms. Owen?
Here.
Mayor Vinesia?
Present. We were supposed to do a closed session tonight at 6. Nobody was really available for that, so I actually think that I should make a motion to go into executive session. We have our two attorneys that are with us tonight, our two favorite attorneys. Is there a second? Otherwise, the discussion will be carried out into the open.
Well, Mayor, I don't think that would be appropriate.
That's fine, Amy. So I will discuss basically what took place in the closed session.
I make a motion we approve the bill list.
Now,
Second.
if you don't run the meeting, Mr. Dilge, out of order.
Call for a vote, clerk, please.
Mr. Lafferty, could you explain to your client he's out of order?
Mayor, you cannot discuss in public what was discussed in
The
executive
components
session.
of what I have, based upon what we discussed back there, there is nothing that is confidential about this report.
There is,
Absolutely nothing.
and you further are missing a member of council who is critical to this matter.
Mhm.
You cannot discuss this, Mayor.
The investigation was
You
pertaining to
cannot
me,
discuss
Mr.
it.
Lafferty. It was pertaining to me.
Mayor, you
And
can't,
the city
it was
spent
not only,
$7,000 to try to.
Mayor, it was not only pertaining to you.
It was primarily pertaining to me, Mr. Lafferty.
And Mayor, there is a motion on the floor.
There was a second.
There
Yes.
was.
So
Roll call?
there is no consensus to discuss what took place, and council's just gonna simply let this go until the following year, in which then, under my constitutional rights, I don't have the right to face my accusers, Mr. Lafferty, is that what you're saying?
Mayor, what I'm saying is that you're not allowed to discuss a personnel matter in public.
I disagree with you, because I'm not discussing any matters about anybody.
You
I'm
are
just gonna
dis-
give a general
you are-
description of what we discussed.
You are proposing, Mayor, to discuss a confidential personnel matter in public, and that is in violation of the law.
I will tell you this, there was absolutely no evidence of anything
Mayor.
that took place against me or
You're gonna lose your
Mayor.
quorum, Mayor.
And there's a motion and there's a second.
Go ahead, roll call.
Mr. Dilch?
Yes.
Ms. Owen?
Yes.
Mayor Vinesia?
No. We have our two attorneys.
No.
Do you want to perhaps maybe give a little analysis of what we discussed?
Absolutely not.
I don't think we can, given
I make a motion we approve resolution 89-2021.
The meeting's gonna get open to the public, I'm sorry, that's how it works.
Can I get a second, please?
Make a motion to open the meeting to the public.
Can we get a vote, clerk?
Mr. Lafferty, you're gonna have to control your client who's continuously out of order at all times.
First of all, Mr. Dilge is not my client.
Does Cooper Levinson represent him?
I have no idea. I know I personally do not handle any matters. I don't know.
You're gonna lose your quorum, Mayor. I'm not gonna warn you again.
The meeting is always open to the public.
There's a motion and a second to approve resolution 89, 2021. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Why are we going down to that? What is the resolution number?
89-2021.
And for the.
I don't even have that on my agenda.
It is
No, it's not.
89.
Right here.
Well, that's your,
It's not, I have 88.
oh, you have the old agenda, look
You
at
have
the
the
other
old
agenda.
agenda.
The revised for that, I think you should, front and back.
Oh.
Good, you should, Timmy. There it is.
So, for the benefit of the public, Estell Manor currently has a shared services agreement with the County of Atlantic for the purposes of the supply of salt. Last year, you didn't require any, who knows what this year brings. Atlantic County has requested that we convert the shared services agreement into a commodity resale agreement. It's really a change of form over substance. It's not, it'll be on the same terms and conditions, it's on an as-used basis, and they make their salt available to us. So what this resolution does is authorizes the mayor to execute this commodity resale agreement to replace the existing shared services agreement.
So, why was it imperative to do this before we normally open a meeting to the public, which has been done for decades upon decades?
I didn't make the motion.
I have no questions about the resolution.
So just out of curiosity, why was it important to do this now instead of doing it in sequence?
Ready to vote?
We're in the discussion phase. Why is it necessary to do this now and make the public have to wait for us?
It would be over by now.
You're not gonna give the essence. Why was it so important to do it now? You did this at the last meeting.
It would be over by now.
Is there any further discussion?
No.
Roll call.
Mr. Dilge,
Yes.
Ms. Owen,
Yes.
Mayor Vinesia.
Yes. I make a motion to open the meeting to the public.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Meeting is now open to the public. Anybody have any questions pertaining to the agenda? Agreed.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And just on a personal note, I think we're all happy that your son is back home. And hopefully all of the other troops will have traveling mercies when they can get back home. Correspondence, I did send an email to members of City Council along with Mr. Lafferty and Mr. Moore as liaison to the Historical Society liaison to City Council about the spring event we're looking to do in May, and hoping that we can have broad participation. Just at this point, looking for simple approval of the date and for the use of the school grounds for that. If that can be done at some point this evening, perhaps under new business, that would be deeply appreciated. Or now. Depending on where the rest of things go. Has the city received any other correspondence from the County of Atlantic related to the LEAP grant?
Mr. Lafferty, didn't you receive all that information? Way back in the summertime when we were initially discussing all this stuff, because none of the information has changed?
May I amend my question then to be, since the last meeting, has anything else been
I
received?
haven't received anything since the last meeting.
Okay. And regarding Resolution 90, has there been anything else from RCC as a report? I do not see Mr. Dye here this evening. Or is there anything from the Pinelands Commission in writing regarding anything?
We got a report from Resource Control.
On November 30th.
Yeah, I think it was
Oh, it just arrived, all right.
Anyone else from the public?
I didn't think I was done, but thank you. Appreciate that courtesy that we always get.
Anyone else from the public?
Will we have a zoning officer report tonight?
I don't have one with me.
I just received the report and emailed it to council this evening, so there won't be a report tonight.
Anyone else in the public? Going once, going twice? Motion to close the public.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Moving down the line here, we have the engineer's report. Michael?
Okay, good evening.
Welcome aboard.
Last meeting, the council awarded Fifth Avenue and Maple Avenue both Ricky Slate Construction. DOT has reviewed the recommendation award and concurs, and the contracts have been sent to the contractor. I spoke to Judd earlier today and would like to set up a pre-construction meeting for Friday, December 10th. Contractor would like to get in possibly the following week. He'd like to start on Maple and, weather pending, maybe continue the 5th. It's not promising anything, but sooner we have the pre-construction meeting and get things rolling, it's possible to get both of them, if not one of these projects done by the end of the year.
When are they thinking of starting Maple?
They're thinking of starting the following Monday, so that would be
Not this Monday coming up, but the following.
correct, the 13th, tentatively, weather pending.
Did they have a time frame? What they project it's going to take to do the job?
I mean, they have, I believe, 30 days from the notice to proceed to complete the project. I would estimate, with no weather issues, should have the paving completed in 1 week. Essentially, we have some base areas that need to be milled, check the subgrade base, leveling course, and then the surface course, and the shoulder restoration and driveway apron. So the majority of that work will be completed probably within a week. And then we have some line striping, done by zone, so whenever they can schedule that in.
And that road was not a candidate to just simply take up all of it, because historically it was just potholes galore everywhere.
Those
And that's an
areas,
indication that the sub base is really not that great.
those areas where it's failing is being removed with base course. So we are gonna mill out those sections, and at that time, we'll evaluate the base course underneath. If there's soft areas, they'll be excavated, compacted DGA, base course, and then the entire roadway will get a 2-inch surface course over top.
And then what about the Fifth Avenue project?
And then we'll get further details at the pre-construction meeting on the contractor's schedule, but, I think he'd like to start with Maple first. All those details we'll discuss on the 10th.
I was gonna ask Nelson if you could make that meeting not have a conflict. It's on the 10th at 10 a.m.
Correct.
Do you,
No, I can't, I won't be here.
okay?
That's Friday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This Friday?
Next Friday.
Friday week.
Next Friday, for the purposes of, you just basically normally are at the pre-construction meetings.
Right, it's required by DOT.
Does a member of council be there?
It's not required. Generally, you usually do it with the clerk or somebody from Public Works. They want to be there. I mean, it's not necessary from the city to attend, but, you're always invited.
Jeff is here. I know you're not working that day, but on the 10th, maybe at 10 o'clock, if possible.
I can't make it, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I do have another one.
All right. Well, the building, the assistant court person is here, and I can make arrangements to make sure the building's open, and you can just come in here, or this door, or that door should be open, you can just meet right here with the contractor.
Okay.
So that's Friday the 10th, huh?
Correct. He wants to, the sooner we have that, the sooner he can start work, so DOT generally likes to have at least 10 days notification for the meeting, so that would be the 10th, and then we'd like to be in on the 15th.
Okay.
And then lastly, at last month's meeting, the council awarded, gave us authorization for our proposal for South Jersey Avenue and 13th. It's been scheduled with our field crew, and probably sometime, by the end of this month, we'll be on site doing the field survey and move forward with the existing conditions drafting and then the design as well.
Mike, if you would, can you call me on December the 9th? And, let me see if I can be available for this pre-construction meeting for you.
Sure.
I know I'm gonna be doing something, but maybe it's possible that I won't. So if you give me a call, call me on the 9th. Tuesday.
Okay.
Actually, wait a minute, call it Thursday, right? That would be the 9th.
Correct.
Okay. What else do you have?
That's all I have this evening.
And when did you start, or when are you going to start with the South Jersey Avenue?
I'd say our crew is gonna be on site sometime this month. And then that gives us plenty of time to do the survey, the design, and probably look to have the project bid late spring. You know, and be hopefully under construction, you know, May, April, weather pending.
All right. Everything else?
That's all I have.
So I'll talk to you on the 9th, and until then, good holiday for you and your family.
Do the same as well, the council.
Mayor, can we release the labor council?
Do you guys want to be released, or you want to, maybe we'll be able to go in executive after the meeting? It's up to you.
Whatever you guys want us to do, we'll do.
Is council going to be willing to go into executive after the conclusion of this meeting? No?
No, that was a Sparks thing, no, I wouldn't.
I don't think you can without Mrs. Sparks being here.
It's your choice.
We'll stay if you want us to stay.
You're not going to be willing to go into an executive, so it's up to you if you want to stay, you can, if you want to leave, you can.
Thank you.
We'll take you off the clock.
Bill, have a Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
See you, Bill, have a Merry Christmas.
Thank you, holiday. You have a bill list? We have an updated bill list.
We just, we voted on the, we already voted on it.
On the bill list?
Yep.
I thought we were voting on resolution 89.
We did that after the vote.
Pretty crafty. That's some questions pertaining to the bill list, and I guess that's why it's important to get it out of the way first. Very, very crafty.
There's nothing crafty about it, Mayor, you argued about it, and then we voted it. I wouldn't be against opening it up again, though, if you have questions.
I don't be opposed to it.
It's already been approved. I mean, it's kind of pointless to ask any questions at this point. And, I did have one question. Where did I see it?
Make a motion, we reopen the bill list.
Second.
Gonna call for a vote.
All in favor? Aye. So one, two, four. Jeff, things that you hear, I see that we have a, Value Auto Parts. What did we get there for $465?
Value on parts. Value on. That happened?
Yeah.
That was the, starter, some other brake parts. But I had to return the core, which give us back another $100-some.
Will they be coming to pick it up?
So I put another order for parts, yeah.
So they'll come and pick it up?
Yeah, so, when I return the core, it'll be a refund of, on the exact amount, over $100.
Okay. There was one question that they had, just stay with me for a second. I guess while you're here, I also saw something about that you had a, charge of $510 for tools. What did you buy with that?
Tools?
Yeah.
come along in order to get the false records on the truck easily. You only have one. That's not listed, what's there?
Is it from your list of
The inverter,
requests?
the inverter to charge
Okay.
batteries for the truck. And something else. The yellow panel.
All right, whatever.
I think he had some hand tools maybe, it was on that list,
There was
you
something
gave
in the
council
wish
list
list.
at the last meeting,
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
I don't recall everything either, but you had a number of things there.
Itemized and we approved it all.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You got three things off there. So forth.
All right, never mind. It's on this other bill list, but forget it. Let's move on. We have correspondence. There is none, correct, Ed?
Correct.
Okay.
Well, that's
But I had
actually-
that from, Mr. Pogue, I thought we were gonna maybe wait till after the first of the year on that, but that's the only thing that came through.
That's not good.
We have ordinance, which is none.
We do have the correspondence, so can we vote on that now?
Let's discuss the correspondence again. Because I don't have it.
The Historical Society wants to hold, was it a Chinese auction or something, and it's in May of next year, so what do you need, just to advertise ahead of time or something?
Well, it's advertising, it's getting other groups involved and being able to say, okay, it's approved because condition of the lease is the fundraising event being held at the school has to be approved by city council. So we're trying to be a little proactive and,
And the newsletter comes out next week, so.
Right.
This is a normal practice, we already did this once this year, so I'd recommend that council vote for this, please.
Someone make a motion?
I make a motion to allow the Estell Manor Historical Society, I make a motion to approve the Estell Manor Historical Society to have their Chinese auction on May 21st, 2020.
Second?
Any discussion?
2022, I heard you say that.
One of the discussion items that I would like to say is that, there seems to be more and more fundraising that is taking place over there. I don't believe the city council or the city itself is made aware of what the amount of money that is being generated, how much they're collecting. According to the lease, fundraising really is not permitted.
not true.
Also, I would say that the city is still making funding, approving funding, making payments, whatever. Perhaps if they're gonna continue to fundraise, maybe they should be able to take care of themselves. The city doesn't need to do this anymore.
But they have a lease in place that we can't do anything about before its expiration. We've been down this road. We're bound to hold up our end in keeping with what we promised in the lease that's in place.
Moving on down the line, all in favor?
Aye.
Abstain. Next, we have, moving down to the resolutions, 77 to approve the LEAP grant. Council either needs to move on this now or move on it never.
That's actually not true, we have until February to make a decision on that. That's number one, and number two, we still have not been provided the copies of the contracts that the other cities have with the county, so we can take a look at them and see what they're offering there.
But you had indicated months ago, Mrs. Allen.
Should have had a motion before we started discussing it.
Thank you.
That's correct, Mr. George is correct.
You had indicated months ago that you're gonna get all that information.
We need a motion, Mayor, before we can discuss it.
I'll make a motion. Is there a second? That's fine. That's fine. So what is
For
the?
the edification of the public, we have until the 21st of February to decide what we're gonna do with the LEAP grant.
Meanwhile, the county did send over I know that I sent it to the clerk months and months back. I initially started discussing about this LEAP grant back in March, perhaps. City has the opportunity to get $120,000, 2 brand-new vehicles at no cost. They have a, Mr. Lafayette, I thought that information was also supplied to you. The contract that they have with Brigantine, Ventnor, and Margate, where they pay $105 an hour. It's a standard contract that they have with all of the municipalities that are involved with any type of snow removal.
You're gonna lose your quorum, Mayor.
Mr. Dilge, I'm gonna read out an email if you keep this up.
Read it out. I suggest anybody in the public, that Oprah requests the mayor, the email that the mayor sent me on Thanksgiving Day.
Wait to get the next one.
Well, as a point of order, there's nothing on the floor right now.
Merry Christmas, everybody. Good night.
Really?
Good night.
That was the reason why I wanted to do the bill list, because you were gonna leave. Take my toys and run and go home with it. Unbelievable. We've been in business for how long now? The public would like to hold on, I have a statement that I would like to make.
Mr. Clerk, is the meeting currently stand adjourned for the lack of a quorum?
It does.
Those adjourned, but the public is welcome to sit down.